Howdy, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Daniel here, and welcome to Need for Speed Champions. Today we are showcasing my 2022 Cadillac Escalade, and this is by far one of the heaviest mocs that I have in my collection at the moment because of how many pieces were used to assemble this beautiful SUV. Believe it or not, it's got a engine detail, it's got two functioning areas on this vehicle, and to the best of my ability I managed to get it at the right height like the real Cadillac Escalade. It's pretty tall for an American SUV. It's also a benchmark for the next for the other two SUVs I'm currently working on, which probably won't come out in a few months or so depending on the situation. But yeah, that's pretty much the benchmark for the other two SUVs, which is going to be the GMC Yukon and the Chevy Tahoe. So, with that being said, before we dive right into the video, if you guys are new to my channel, welcome. And if you like what I do here, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps me a lot, actually, and it pushes the algorithm to more people so that way they can see mocs that they probably haven't seen before. They've probably seen some, but I don't think they've seen mocs like this, to be honest with you. I'm just making assumptions. So just make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video if you like the video, and if you want to build one of these, you can check out my website, which is needforspeedchampions.com, where I will be selling all my custom instructions there, including the Cadillac Escalade, which is the one I'm showcasing right now. So feel free to do that. But yeah, let's get right into the video. So let's just start off with the back here. The back is it looks pretty basic, but there's a lot of intricate details in the back that made the back for what it is. I had to use brackets, I had to use bricks, modified bricks, just to get the tail light angle at the correct height and the correct position to where the lights can go up and down, because there's not a single part that has like a triangular trans-red part for the Cadillac Escalade, so I had to use basically rely on 1x2 plates, 1x2 trans-red plates for the tail lights. So they go from here all the way up to this little roof here, the C-pillar. So the back, like I said, it looks pretty basic, but this is what the back is made of. You can see all the brackets, all the fun stuff to kind of get the back assembled the exact same way that I want it to be assembled. I had to use a 1x3 plate just to make sure that this is kind of even in the center, but we'll leave plenty of room for the exhaust underneath it, as well as the spare tire, which is the best feature that I was able to incorporate for this vehicle, because most SUVs, North American SUVs, and I'm pretty sure European SUVs and pickup trucks alike have spare tires underneath them in case you get stranded somewhere. That's why I was really proud of this mock, because not only was I able to get the exhaust parts installed in place, but I was able to get the spare tire in place as well, while still having the perfect accuracy for the Cadillac Escalade rear, which includes the tail lights, the license plate, the bumper here, the lower bumper for like if you want to step on a bumper to get some stuff out of the back end of the vehicle, out of the trunk, you can do that. And then these are 1x1 plate, metallic silver plate pieces. Now these are pretty rare, so they're not going to be, well, I think I just added those into my instructions. I don't know, but they are pretty rare, so I'm just telling you guys ahead of time, so that way you won't be caught off guard with the pricing and stuff when you look into buying the 1x1 metallic silver plates for your Cadillac Escalade. So that's it for the rear. Now let's go to the side of the vehicle here. My brightener keeps going down, so I had to pause the video to turn my brightener up a bit. Now these are tiles, so I've used 1x3 and 1x4 metallic silver tiles just so I can get the silver lining aesthetic on the doors, like what you see here. And then it's pretty much metallic silver here and there because I put one right here on the side for the B pillar, and then I put more tiles on the top, on the rooftop, metallic silver tiles on the rooftop, just so you, just like the real one. I think the real Cadillac has like a silver bar on the top, so I was trying to make sure I hit that specific detail. And this is a very fragile roof because when you try to take it off, the centerpiece kind of sinks in a bit, and even if you have it on display, it's probably going to sink in a bit just because I use like these see, it's falling apart. I've used like the turntable plates just because I wanted to make sure that not only the male minifigs can fit into the vehicle, but the female minifigs. So that's the main goal. So when building cars, I try to make sure I meet that requirement. So let me get this out of the way because it's falling apart on me. So this is the interior of my SUV here. You can see that it is white and light bluish gray, and that's because, you know, the Cadillac Escalades, they're pretty, those are the luxury vehicles of North America, just like I think the Land Rover in Great Britain or the UK is like a luxury vehicle to many. This is the luxury vehicle for the North American continent, which is why I try to keep it as clean and simple as possible while adding some luxury, while adding some luxury details to the vehicle. And if you look closely into the interior, you can see that I've used like an ice blade for door handles. Now, I've started using ice blades on all of my cars just because I care more about details than I do about functionality. So when it comes to building cars, for me specifically, I try to hit details and the aesthetics of the car, and then focus less on the functionality. Even though I would like to have functionality on most of my cars, I try to focus more on the details because with details, I appreciate more details to the car than I do with the functionality, if I'm honest. Because with the details, I kind of take in, it's breathtaking to see all the details and stuff. To me, it is, whether it's the exterior of the vehicle or the interior of the vehicle. So I try to focus more on the interior than the functionality of the vehicle. But this vehicle only has like 2 functions, which I will show you here in a bit. But this is a cleaner version of the Cadillac Escalade interior that is available in white. Now, originally I was gonna do like a dark indigo blue, but then I realized the mud guards themselves are pretty pricey, especially when they are from the Lego brand itself. I will order some alternative mud guards from what is it called, Webrick, which is the much more affordable Lego brick site, but sadly those parts are made in China. But hey, I'm not complaining. So yeah, that will be it for the interior of the Escalade. Now I will show you the functionality on these sides here. So sorry if my hand is in the way. So we can pull these down. You can step onto these little bars here, and then the minifig can get into the vehicle. Now, depending on your selection of parts, these will either work for you or they will work against you. Like for an example, look at how this is coming apart. Because on the driver's side, it's easy to pull this. On the driver's side, it's easy to pull this down, and on the passenger side, it just feels like there's friction applied to this, and that's why it comes off when you try to pull it down. So it varies from piece to piece. It does work, but you're gonna have to like hold these pieces down, these 1x1 modified round plates with the bars on the end, just to pull these down. So if you're lucky, you might get the one that doesn't have any friction applied to it, but I can't guarantee that. So now let's go and look underneath the vehicle. If you've seen it earlier when I showed you the footsteps, the retractable footsteps, you can see all this detail underneath the chassis base, and that's because, you know, like I said, I pay more attention to the details for of the car, like the interior and the exterior, more so than I do when it comes to functions and stuff. So this is this is, I think, my most prideful build so far when it comes to building the Cadillac Escalade. You can see all the metallic silver details and stuff, and you can see a little bit of pipe details and stuff going toward the engine bay and going toward the back. I didn't find any images for a flipped over Cadillac Escalade, so I just basically went with the flow of how the engine bay and all the pipes and stuff was connected underneath the chassis base. So yeah, that is my favorite part of the build of the Cadillac Escalade. So as soon as I get this as soon as I get this roof back on, we'll move forward. Now we come to the front part of the Cadillac, and I think this is the most captivating part of the whole car. And that's because at a perfect angle, if you can angle it perfectly, it looks like a actual Cadillac Escalade, and it kind of feels like it's not made of Lego when it looks that way, but then again, it is made of Lego, but it's most definitely recognizable. So there's a lot of, again, 1x1 modified bricks that is used to angle the corners and shape the face out the way I want it to be shaped. And I hope I don't have to take the bonnet, the windscreen off just to take the bonnet off. So let me try to take the bonnet off so I can show you the engine details, which is falling apart on me. I'm gonna repair the bonnet here right quick. Now that we've removed the bonnet, you can see all the engine details and stuff. It's mostly black in color, and I think that's because, Cadillac Escalade SUV engines have like a lot of black trimmings around their engine bay. So if you can barely see all the details, I understand that because it's all black in color. But there's some engine details into this bay here. You just can't really see it because it's not all colorful and stuff. So I try to make sure I do the colorful. I try to add some color to it, whatever I can, just so you can see some beauty out of the engine bay. Let me pause the video because of that. The back is coming off. So yeah, let me turn my brightener up again. That is the details for the engine bay. I don't have a keen erudite mindset when it comes to designing the engine bay, because I try to go by what the images show me of how the engine detail looks and how it is, assembled in a way. So it's not going to be perfect, but to the extent it's pretty accurate in my opinion. Now, if you look at the lower part of the SUV's face, you can see that there's a little detail right here, and this is a 1x2 panel that I've used to cover the last portion of the front end of the vehicle. And if you look at it closely, you can see there's like 1x2 slopes going inward, and then the panel just comes out. So somehow I was able to incorporate that feature based on a real image without any resistance from the parts. And I wish I could have used like a 1x4 panel instead of a 1x2 panel, because a 1x2 panel, I could use that for something else. A 1x4 panel would just take up the whole space and fill in that blank right there. But yeah, that was the pieces that were available at the time. So I guess I can take this off so I can show you the details at the front here, if I can do that. But the problem is that it is not just connected by 1x1 modified bricks. It's also attached underneath by, you can't see it, but I think it's attached to the newest modified plate. I think it's that's not a plate. I think it's a 3386 piece. That's what's used to hold the whole face in place, so it won't come off or come apart so easily. So there's a lot of part junctions and connections in the face that's holding the face together, because with all these angles and stuff and all the small extra pieces used to assemble the face, it was vital for me to get those pieces connected somehow in some way, so where the face pieces don't come apart so easily. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, one more detail that I will show you guys will be the tires. And there's a reason for that. So let me just see if I can find a piece around here. Alright, well, I'm no mechanic for you guys, but here we go. So these are the standard wheels that I use for SUVs. I've used these exclusively for SUVs and pickup trucks simply because with the bigger vehicle comes bigger tires or bigger wheels. So I try to keep the SUVs as high as possible as well as the pickup trucks, and I use these just because, you know, they both have big tires or big wheels, while sedans and regular cars have like smaller tires or wheels. So these are the standard wheels that I use for all of my SUVs and pickup trucks. And the reason why I use these and why I like these so much is because, let me put the tire back onto the wheel here. And let me put the axle piece here. It's because with the tire and the axle connector in place, I take a 1x1, and this is a new technique for you guys, for those of you who are wondering how I was able to use big wheels with the wheel spokes in them. So this is how it is done. So with this little hole here, you see this hole here, you can use a 1x1 round stud, and once you get it in, if I can do that, once you get this 1x1 round stud in perfectly, it fits nice and snug in there, and it won't even come out unless you use like a bar or something. Let me turn my brightener up so you can see that better and change my camera view. There we go. So once it's in there, it's nice and snug, and you won't have to worry about it coming out because you can just use like a bar, let's say like a lightsaber bar. You can just use that to poke the stud out of there. But with the stud in, we now use like a spoke, a wheel spoke, and it goes right in there, and it fits perfectly in the wheel. So that is why I started using these, because when I discovered that little technique, and by the way, I think this is considered like an illegal building technique, because I was struggling to get that in there in my stud.io programming system, because when creating instructions for these, the system registers this process as it won't fit, or it will cause some kind of resistance when you try to fit it in there. But it fits perfectly. That's why I always do my test builds IRL, because the computer can say one thing about the parts not working digitally. It's a whole nother ballgame when you try it out in real life. So that's why I do most of my building IRL. So, but yeah, this works pretty well, and it doesn't slip out even with the spoke in place. So that's why I use these wheels, just because, you know, it saves the smaller wheels for the sedans and the sports cars and exotic cars, while I can use the regular wheels, regular truck and SUV wheels for the SUVs and the pickup trucks. All right, so there you have it, folks. The 2022 Cadillac Escalade. Again, this is one of my greatest mocs so far in terms of the height, and pretty much my first fully sized SUV mock ever built, because I built the Honda Kona way back. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago. I don't know, but I built the Honda Kona a couple of years ago. And I think that one is I don't know if it's a hatchback or if it's an SUV/hatchback. It's probably both, but that SUV has been since disassembled. I'll try to build a new one with the new parts coming out. I'll try to build a new Honda Kona in the future, but with a little bit more of an in-depth detail like this Cadillac Escalade. So, with that being said, I think that concludes the showcase for the Cadillac Escalade. So let me know what you guys think of this beautiful, beautiful SUV here. So make sure you check out my website also for instructions, again, if you want to build this yourself. But let me know what you guys think about this SUV. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring a bell for notifications, share this video out there, and you guys have a great, great day.